Hi guys, today we'll know how to integrate your Hibernate with a web application. I have a small application that I'm using Servlet and JSP, and I just make a one registration form with just three fields, and we'll try to register. And if there's any problem with the registration, one failure page will come. I mean, one error.jsp will come. If it is successful registration, okay, one success message will come. So I'm just trying this, and I'll not use JDBC. I'll use the Hibernate here, and let us understand in details now how we can develop this application. So developing and deploying Hibernate application with Servlet, or we can say with web application. So first of all, we'll open our MyEclipse and we'll just say new, and then I'll say web project. So I'm creating here a web application. Okay, once you are saying web project, the dialog box will come, right? I just enter a name here, Servlet using Hibernate, right? And what kind of JTV version you are using, you can select it from here. I just selected Java 5, Java E5 I mean, and this is a project name, Servlet using Hibernate. Rest you did not to do anything, and just say finish. Once you are clicking on the finish, your project has been created here. So this is the project where I have a source, and there's a web root which is having web.inf and index.jsp. So I just design index.jsp here, and I've just written here welcome to Hibernate. So the message is like this: using Servlet in Hibernate. Click here to submit a student details. So one link will come, register, right? Now this register I will attach with one form. So let us make a or design a form here. So this is my small form where I am using a student name, right? And student age and phone number. So if you can see here, student name, student age and phone. So I'm using three field here, name, age and phone. Once I register, my Servlet will call and do registration. I mean, record the data in my database in a table. So okay, so this is a form, and the form name is what? Student register.html. So what we'll do, we'll make a link here, and at this place we'll write here student register.jsp, right? Okay, so if you can see, there is a one sorry, it is a student register.html, so you have to mention this file as a link. Once I click on my index page, okay, this page will come. Now we have designed another two pages, that is a failure.jsp and success.jsp. If you can see here, there's a another two JSP pages I have. One is the failure.jsp and second is the success.jsp, and this is my index and this is my student register.html, right? So next is here, and after designing this page, success.jsp and failure.jsp, just I have a message, sorry, failed to register, and here I have message congratulations, registration process over successfully, like that. So now add Hibernate capabilities. So you go to your project, okay, and then say here MyEclipse, okay. So just click on this and say MyEclipse, and then select here add Hibernate Capabilities. Once you are clicking here, you will get option that which kind of version you want to use. So let us say I use Hibernate 3.1. Okay, so just check this block Hibernate 3 core libraries. If you are using some ZDBC and all, you have to select other than advanced support libraries, so you have to check this one. Let us select this core libraries only and then click next, and this time you have to select your driver, the driver which we have created in the last example. I mean first basic Hibernate example, and we are passing the URL drivers and root, username, password and dialect. Since I am using MySQL database, so I am using here MySQL dialect. Okay, and then you say next. So this is my MySQL dialect which I am using here. Now, and then after select or create a package. If package is not there, just create it new and make a package. Okay, and then say finish. Once you have done finish, okay, you will get this some of the libraries here, and you can see clearly here that Hibernate 3.1 core libraries and Hibernate cfg.xml configuration file is ready with this driver's URL, username and password and dialect, right? You can add some property here that show SQL statement and HBM2 DLL.auto equal to update, so that if table is there, it will just keep inserting the records, I mean updating your table. It will not recreate. If you are looking for recreate, just write here create, so it will create again and again, drop and recreate. And yeah, now next what we have to do, just click on this place and go to the MyEclipse Database. Okay, so once you are saying MyEclipse Database, you will come to the MyEclipse Database Explorer. So it will display the whole database tables and all. Okay, so you can see this driver and displaying your database and displaying your table here. So now I have a student table. There is one concept in MyEclipse we are having that is called Hibernate reverse engineering. Okay, what this guy will do, if you remember in our project till now we have not created any bin or any Hibernate mapping file. So this guy will do two things. It will create bin on the basis of your table which you have here, plus it will create mapping file, HBM file, Hibernate mapping file dot XML file for your table. So you need not to do any mapping for this table. This option will do all this job. Okay, so once you are clicking the Hibernate reverse engineering, it will ask for the package, so where the bin will get created, just select the package and then say next. Here just click type of mapping. You want Java type mapping, just click on this. If you're looking for enable many to many detections and all, you can also select that and just say next here. And this place you have to select the tables that you want. So generate artifacts for the following tables. This is my table and these are the columns I have, where we are telling that ID generator, what kind of ID generator you are having, whether you are having uh, increment or sequence or identity, what kind, what class we created for your table. So student table is here. Now what is the class name? Just give it here. If you are looking for something else, you just write down the class name and that class will get created. And now click finish. Once you are clicking finish, come back to your uh, Java persistence, means Java project from the database. This guy will automatically create the bean and HBM file. So you can see clearly here one bean class, that is the student.java has been created with all these properties and constructor and getter setter method. Okay. And there's the one HBM file also created here, student.hbm.xml file, which is having the mapping of table and your class student class, I mean student bean here. Okay. This is your student hbm.xml mapping here. So clearly you can see the mapping details now. It is saying that there's a Hibernate mapping and then class name Hibernate example student, table student, catalog db1, right? And then there's the ID. I said increment, so it has been generated, and the student name, okay, age and the phone. So whole mapping has been done and the file is automatically created through the reverse engineering concept of the MyEclipse. Okay. So we have done all the mapping parts from the Hibernate perspective. Okay, and next we have to think about the Servlet. So we have generated JSP pages and all index pages. So next we have to make a Servlet. So let us create a Servlet in MyEclipse in our project. So I just say here new, and so we'll select new and then we'll select a Servlet. Okay. Once you are selecting Servlet, a dialog box will come and where you have to refer your Servlet name. I mean here I have given a student register. Okay. So my Servlet name is a student register, and you check like what methods you want, doGet and doPost, and then click here next. Now inside the Servlet, what coding will do? So once if you have a doGet or doPost method, you just start writing this code here. So this is the code I have written here. What I'm saying here, request dispatcher I have taken on object, and here I'm creating the student bean object, right? So this Servlet will get this bean and call the setter method and request.get parameter name, age and phone. So this Servlet will take data from the form which the first, if I go to index and then the form will come. So once I say register, the Servlet will call and with the help of this request.get parameter will get the value from the form and it will set to the bean. So now this bean is having whatever the name, age, phone has been entered by the client, right? I mean user who is registering. So we have got the bean object. Now we are trying to get configuration of the Hibernate. So there's a configuration and then we are saying configuration. There's a one object I have created equal to new configuration dot configure. So this will get the configuration. What configuration means? There's a CFG file, right? Hibernate dot cfg.xml file. That configuration file is having the configuration, I mean drivers details, okay, and connection, URL, username, password. We'll get it with the help of this configuration.build session factory. We'll get the session factory, and from the session factory we'll open session and get the session object. Now with the help of session we can say session.save ebean. So this bean is having whole data. Now I am just saying save this bean. So this bean will go to my table and store one record. Before doing transactions, we have to take the help of transaction here. So we are doing here transaction object session dot begin transaction, and finally we are saying transaction dot commit. So your transaction has been committed, and current value of flag is false, and we are making it true here. And now on the basis of that flag value, we are deciding if flag means if it is a true, then go to the success page. If it is a false, then go to the failure page. So for that sake, we are using request dispatcher object, which will help you to forward this request to that particular page, right? Now let us see how to run this code. And okay, so before that, let us understand this mapping part of the servlet. So we are having a servlet. That servlet name is the student register, right? This is my servlet that I am calling through the stud register. Okay, so this is my URL pattern which I have to use in my form, and this is my welcome page. So once the welcome page will come, I'll click register form will come. In the registration form, I will fill up the value and say register. It will go to the servlet, and then servlet will connect with database with the help of Hibernate, and then store the object bin object to database. Now next, let us do the deployment part of our application to the server. So we need to configure servlet, server, Tomcat server to run the application. Before that, to deploy the application. So this is my application which is ready now, and we'll go to the server. We'll just click on the button. There's one button here. Click on the servers, and that will bring you to the server tab here. This is the button where you can just click and say server, and now you have to check your Tomcat server and just say run. So the current status is running, so my server is ready. Now we'll go to here, right click, and then say run as and MyEclipse server application. So this guy will deploy your application to the Tomcat server, right? So just click here and then click here, then click here, right? So once deployment happen correctly, the browser will open in your MyEclipse. So this is the browser which we have got. So it has deployment done, and the page has been rendered with your project, and you can see this browser. This is my first page, index page, where I have to say register. Once I click the register, what will happen? My registration form will come, right? Okay, so next, this is my registration form. I am clicking register, and then this guy is coming here, right? Now I have to enter the name, age, phone number. So I just enter the name, age, phone number, right? So I enter the name here, Tom, and age is 23, and phone number is 8796544. So now I will click register here. Once I will click register, this form will invoke the servlet, right? So this is my servlet, if you remember, stud register. So this servlet will call, and this servlet is looking for this configuration file, doing connectivity with the database server, MySQL server, and then it is saying save. So that bin will save. First looking data from this form, storing to the bin, and then sending this bin to the database table. Okay. Once, if any problem with this, any exception is this, okay. So like if you're saying register, this success page will come. If any error happens, okay, this page will come, error page which we have designed. If you remember in the servlet what we have done, in the servlet we have used request dispatcher, right, which is helping you to forward the request to the success and failure once if it is a success or failure, if flag is true, then it is going to the success page, and it is also displaying the statement which has been fired to the database server, right? Now if you go back to your table and you can look the data which I have inserted here, you can see I inserted the student name, that is a Tom, and age was 23 and phone number was this, right, 8796544, and there's a 4 which is the ID, right, which is auto increment. Automatically it has been generated because previous record was 3, so next it has come 4 now, right, because here student ID is a int and it is my primary key, right, and I told to Hibernate that it is an increment part, so it is auto increment done by Hibernate. So that's all about the integrating your Hibernate with web application.